I can't hold it all in. So the easiest way to let it all out is to create an organization, an ensemble that gives people and all their talents and all their gifts room to shine. And now I'm helping you do this. I'm helping you do this. I'm helping you do this. So my talents are helping you express your talents. And I don't want the credit for it. I don't want the credit for it. I almost hate having my name on Melanin Mosaics and stuff because it's not about me. It's about the creations and the art and the people we create and help through our art. As long as everyone else feels that and I help facilitate that idea and that special energy, then I've done my part. So it doesn't, do me any good to see my name on anything because I'm the artistic director or the founder. Because again, like I was saying, I didn't create any of this. I feel like the spirits and ancestors said, hey, it's time. Now is the time.
Self-awareness I like to liken to using a blinker. So most of us, hopefully a lot of you drive or you've been in a car and maybe the person driving or yourself has gotten frustrated because somebody is not using their blinker and you're like, you get mad and you don't know why you're getting mad. You just get mad because it's inconveniencing you, right? Because you have to slow down or you have to stop or it just gets in the way. So when you use a blinker, you are telling the people around you your intention. Using a blinker is self-awareness in recognizing that you are not the only person on the road and that others need to know your intent in that moment, in that present moment. Are you turning right? Are you turning left? Or are you just slowing down to make me mad?
We're going to start off with kind of a mental health 101. what does mental health mean, what comprises mental health, what affects mental health. And then we're going to talk about some warning signs that I think it can be really important to kind of keep in mind. Then we're going to get into the bulk of the conversation, which is about coping mechanisms, coping strategies that you can employ at different times in your life and to meet different needs. And then third, because I am a therapist, I like to drop some information for if you choose therapy, if that is one of the coping strategies or the tools that you choose to use in your toolkit, then sometimes it can be nice to kind of get some insider information about what therapy actually entails and what some of your options are in terms of that.
50% of all mental health problems appear by the age of 14 and 75% by the age of 25. 12% of adolescents and 4.9% of adults had serious thoughts of suicide. 69% of youth ages 12 to 17 said they experienced a major depressive episode during the first year of the pandemic. And 45.2% of adults with a mental illness perceived the pandemic to have harmed their mental health.
I wanted to have the opportunity to kind of just take a moment to ground ourselves, take a moment to be and exist in this space. So today we are going to be talking about the energetics of mental health. To finish off the mental health series, let's go. It's going to be a wonderful time. So we're thinking energetics. We are thinking all of the different frequencies that are associated with ourselves, okay? So we're going to have the opportunity to actually dive into these spaces together. So with that being said, today's flow, we're going to start off by grounding and presencing. We're going to define energetic terminology and highlight the distinctions between the terminology. We're going to explore the anatomical frequency and the electromagnetic association to wellness. Ultimately, just saying we're going to take and understand the body parts and understand the hertz, the frequency associated with the body parts. And we're going to talk about the mental health wellness in relation to that electromagnetic association.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Mosaic Mental Health Summit presented by Melanin Mosaic Performance Ensemble. My name is Megan de Ruiz Yankee, and I am both nervous and excited to moderate discussions today about mental health in the marching arts. I am an alumna of the Santa Clara Vanguard Drum and Bugle Corps Color Guard, and I was also the featured soloist for the first Scheherazade production in 2004. I and at least one other alumna endured some of the worst physical and mental health challenges possible that season, and I have struggled with digestive, musculoskeletal, and mental health for over 2 decades as a result. I aged myself out early and went on to teach successful starter color guard programs in North Texas and the Bay Area, California, as well as in clinics across the US. Disappointed by the quality of movement education in the activity, I left in 2010 to earn my Master's of Fine Arts degree in dance, focused on pedagogy and artistic process. And I would then go on subsequently to present and teach dance with nonprofits and universities in Texas, Ohio, North Carolina, Northern Ireland, Burkina Faso, and Uganda. Lastly, I'm a licensed massage therapist who primarily serves military veterans in chronic pain with referrals directly from Veterans Affairs. And I'm currently the sole massage therapy provider for cancer survivors through Holy Cross Hospital under my private practice, Nepantla Body Works in Taos, New Mexico. The summit today will start off with a simple breath work exercise that I'll guide you through, and I encourage you to use it throughout the event as needed. We'll also include presentations from our panelists, a discussion and Q&A, and last and not least, a sound bath and DJ to close us out. So first, if you'll find a comfortable position for our breath work, I'm sitting here in my living room, so I'm going to choose to remain seated so you can see me. And I'm going to place one hand across my sternum and one hand on my belly. You can choose to do the same or place your hands anywhere that's comfortable. First, I'd like for you to simply tune in to your breath without changing it. Throughout this exercise, I just want you to be able to observe your breath, like sort of like a scientist would observe an animal in the wild. So, not trying to change the animal, cage the animal, adjust the environment in any way. I just want you to be able to observe without judgment. So before breathing together, I invite you to close your eyes, but you can leave them open if you choose. Either way, I invite you to allow your eyeballs to fall back into their socket. We're generally very forward as we're looking into our screens. So I invite you to pull your eyeballs back into their sockets and let them sink down, softening the eyes, as well as noticing where your tongue placement is in your mouth. We tend to hold our tongue tight against the roof of our mouth. So I invite you to pull that down, let the tongue sink into the base of the mouth cavity there. So next, I'm about to take about 3 to 5 of my own breath cycles, again, without adjusting it, and I invite you to do the same. You can breathe through your nose or your mouth. As I'm breathing, I can feel my heart beating because I'm a little bit nervous. So just tuning in, how do your hands feel on your body as you breathe? Can you feel your heartbeat? Next, we're going to elongate the breath just slightly. So not going to our full extension of breath, but keeping it still relatively medium to small in breath. I'm going to guide you through 3 to 5 breath cycles of my own, and you can choose to follow with my breath cycle. Or in case yours is longer or shorter, please, 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 I invite you to follow your own timing. If you're following along with me, go ahead and take an inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Now, are you noticing that there's a change in the eyeballs? Do they come forward? Does the tongue go back to the roof of the mouth? Is there any restriction in the breath, in the chest, in the belly, in your hands? All of those are okay. We're not judging them. I just invite you to notice them. Last and not least, we're going to take our biggest breath we possibly can and our biggest exhale we possibly can. Again, together if you want to do that with me, or maintaining your own unique breath timing if that's better serves you. So if you're with me, inhale to your biggest breath and exhale and inhale and exhale and inhale and exhale. Your eyes are closed before you open them, noticing again, are they still soft and back in the back of your eye socket? Is the tongue still soft? Was there any shift in that? Is there any tension in the hands, tension in the torso to acknowledge? All of those are welcome in this breathing space together right now. If your eyes are closed, feel free to blink them open gently. If your hands are on your body, you can drop those to another comfortable position as I continue on. Before I introduce our next panelist, we want to acknowledge that today's summit includes conversations surrounding mental health, emotional wellness, and personal experiences. While our summit is composed of trained professionals, educators, and advocates within the mental health space, the information shared throughout this summit is intended for educational and awareness purposes and should not replace individual medical or mental health care. If you or someone you know needs immediate support, please reach out to a licensed professional or contact 988 for free 24/7 crisis support. We hope these conversations and resources can serve as helpful tools moving forward. Next, let's get on to our panelists and their presentations. First up, we have Jason Reid. Jason is an entrepreneur, storyteller, and founder of Tell My Story, a nonprofit transforming how families and communities talk about youth mental health. After losing his 14-year-old son Ryan to suicide, Jason turned grief into purpose. Tell My Story, produced through Oak Hollow Studios, uses documentary filmmaking and community events to open honest conversations about mental health, moving the narrative from problem to possibility. Through screenings and events nationwide, Tell My Story has reached families everywhere, building a movement one story at a time. Jason brings the same commitment to scale in his business life. As co-founder and CEO of National Services Group, he has built a family of construction and home services companies employing over 3,500 people across over 25 states. He also serves as president of Moore Sports Group, the official court builder of the U.S. Open Pickleball Championship. His newest venture, Power Ox, is bringing factory-grade robotics to the construction industry, tackling a $2 trillion sector facing a generational workforce crisis. A two-time TEDx speaker and Goalcast contributor whose talks have reached millions, Jason believes deeply in the power of story to create change. An Ironman athlete, black belt in Taekwondo, and author of 7 books written for the love of the craft, Jason is driven by one simple belief that every story told has the power to change another.
My name is Jason Reid, and I think by way of introduction, the best way for you to know my background is to play this trailer of the movie I made, I think 7 years ago now, called Tell My Story.
I've not grown up.
You've not grown up?
No.
Do you have any intention of ever growing up?
I don't know.
So, you know a little bit about my project because you've seen it and we've talked and we're friends. I took portrait because I wanted to show what grief looked like.
So Ryan turned 14 on March 12th last year. And then Kim and I went away to celebrate her birthday. And we both got these texts
From
Ryan.
From him? I didn't know this.
He texted all of us and he said goodbye. It essentially said, Dad, it's not your fault, I love you. There's nothing you could have done, and I don't buy any of that.
Our calls have quadrupled in the last 10 years.
Last 10 years.
So we have seen a dramatic increase in calls. The highest attempt risk group is teens.
Did you know the youth suicide rate for kids 10 to 17, and since 2011, it has jumped 141%.
Kids who are 3 to 5 hours on a screen, 30% increase, anxiety, depression, suicide thoughts. 5 hours a day average, that jumped 71%. That's 5 hour average. You know what the average teen in America is on a screen now, every day? 9.5 to 12. And we're all looking around saying, why are kids dying?
I think it's something with social media nowadays, and it's heavily affecting kids. And when you get into that dark place of just quiet, it's really easy to just play some games with your one friend instead of talking to people about it because you feel ashamed.
I wrote an article called Zuckerberg, Musk, Bezos, Stop Killing Us. There were a group of techies who just couldn't relate to people. And what happened is they addicted the world to adrenaline.
Social media can be very harmful. I was having people tell me at school that what I was doing was for attention. I will prove to you that this is real. I will just kill myself right now.
So I open up the drawer and there's 2 notes, and one says username and password, check my phone, and the other one said tell my story.
So that's what you're doing.
thank you for watching that. I know it can be very heavy, and it's real. I made that because I felt like I had to. And since then, I decided, well, to stay in this space, because that was 8 years ago. And over the last 8 years, I have learned an awful lot about mental health of kids, parents, families, people in general. And I do focus most of my time talking to parents about how to best have conversations with their kids. So let me tell you some of the things I've learned. The most important thing I've learned, well, maybe not the most important thing, but a very important thing I've learned is that if you've never, ever been depressed, then you don't really know what it's like. And so let me explain to you the analogy I use. I live in Southern California, and if I'm looking outside right now, there's not a cloud in the sky. I'm sorry if you live somewhere else, but there's not a cloud in the sky today. And if I was sitting here with Ryan, and we were looking at that sky together, he may only see clouds. And there's absolutely nothing I can do or say to get him to not see those clouds. Because in his mind, it's a cloudy day. And in his mind, every day might be cloudy. The only thing that you can do is to ask them about their clouds. Because if you say, look, there are no clouds in the sky, they're going to stop talking to you. And that could be one of your kids, that could be your spouse, that could be your friend. If you try to tell them that they're wrong, they will retreat from you. And that's the last thing we want. So all you can do is ask them about their clouds. Ask them how they feel. Ask them how the clouds make them feel. What do they look like? Do they come and go? Are there good clouds and bad clouds? But ask them how they feel. And then this part's very important. Resist with every fiber of your body to try and tell them they're wrong. Because you're not going to win that conversation. In their mind, they see what they say, what they see. And therefore, when you try to tell them, hey, you're absolutely wrong, your world is great, and here's why you're so lucky, and here's why you're so much better off than I was as a kid, and if you had my dad or my mom or this or that or the other thing, they're just not going to talk to you. So I want you to keep that in mind, because really being there for someone in their mental health is being there and listening, not being there and telling them what to do. So that's step one, is to be there and ask them questions and be there and listen. And it's not going to make sense to you. I want you to understand this. You're going to be going, holy cow, how could you think that that's what the world looks like? And that's just how it looks like to them. So, here's where we stand today. You know, it's May 10th, Mother's Day, actually. And I'm recording this for you. And as we stand here today, there's a whole bunch of people who are suffering. I talked to friends this week who went into the hospital because they had to bring somebody in the hospital for mental health issues. And there was like 15 people ahead of them in line on the weekend. There are not enough therapists and doctors and psychologists and clinics and hospitals to help take care of all the kids and all the adults that are challenged right now. And that's why it's so important that we own our kids' mental health the way we own our kids' physical health. What do I mean by that? Well, here's what I mean. I've raised 4 kids. And inevitably Monday morning when they were going to elementary school, someone would walk into the room on Monday and they'd say, I'm not feeling well, I can't go to school. And what's the first thing you think about? Well, I'll tell you what, the first thing I thought about was, you're lying. You just don't want to go to school. Because I played that trick all the time. And I got away with it all the time. But then we go, okay, you're not feeling well. Where's it hurt? Well, my stomach hurts. Your stomach hurts. Okay. Let me see if you have a fever. Oh, okay, wait, you got a fever. Okay, let's get you lied back in bed. I'm going to call the doctor. We're going to figure this all out. And we go into parenting mode. And we do all the things we have to do as parents because we're naturally wired that way. What we're not wired for is mental health issues. Because the kid walks into your room after work one day and says, I broke up with my girlfriend or my boyfriend, and I don't see the reason to live anymore. And what a lot of us do, and I probably would have done the same thing, and I might have, I'm not actually sure, is we overreact. Because we go into parenting mode, we go into protection mode. Oh my gosh, what are you even saying? You're the most beautiful person in the world, and that idiot who dumped you has no idea. And there's so many better people. I didn't like them anyway. There's so many better people for you. You can't think of those things. And instead of hearing them, instead of letting them tell us how they feel, we just jump all over them because we're trying to protect them. And this is how we operate as parents, because that's kind of how, we've grown up. So the first thing I want you to think about is you have to own their mental health the same way as you own their physical health, which means you have to take the time to listen. When you think about what a therapist really does, and I'm not a licensed therapist, make that clear. I've just spent a lot of time in this space with a lot of therapists. But what a therapist does a really good job of is asking you questions and getting you to think and getting you to get stuff off your chest. If you think about someone who's going through a mental health crisis, my analogy is like a pressure cooker. Remember the old school pressure cookers? You got the heat's on, the fire's on, you got that boiler thing, and the thing's boiling up inside, and you feel like it's gonna burst, and you just dial that little thing and all the pressure comes out. That's one way to look at a mental health crisis. They're in a state of panic right now. They're in a state of not wanting to be here, or they're not in a state of not knowing what to do. They have to get it off their chest. And they have to get it all off their chest. And you can't stop them. You gotta just keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. That right there are a couple of things I want you to think about. Now, we've done a few movies, and I want to play the trailer for What I Wish My Parents Knew. And then I'm going to talk about it.
Before I went to therapy, it was really bad. I remember I would just wake up angry at myself just for waking up, because it's like, what's the point of living if all I feel is just anger and sad, and I can't focus on anything and I'm frustrated.
I remember 3 days after I got on Instagram, I think it was in 6th grade, I saw this artist and I was like, why can't I do that? And I started just thinking continuous bad thoughts on myself. Why can't I do this correctly? Why can't I do this? I would think of myself as kind of useless. And that would just build on and continue on throughout my whole life. And I would just compare and compare. And if I wasn't up to the standard, then I would just kind of beat down on myself.
Never talked to my parents about it. My dad really struggled with his mental health. And so it was I think a large source of, pain for me was, him, because I watched him really, really suffer and really struggle with addiction. And I can remember being 4 or 5 and my dad sharing with me how he wanted to kill himself and how I was the only reason that he was still alive. And I think as a young kid, I guess internalized that as okay, my purpose in life is to save my dad.
Camera 3. Camera 4.
So when I was 7 and 8, I would say that's when I first realized that something with me was different than what I was told to believe. And growing up, or I guess to give some backstory, context, I'm gay, and growing up, my family, my circle was all very religious, and I just heard a lot from my parents, from people I knew, friends, of just how they believed that was wrong because of religion. So when I was 7 and 8 is kind of when I first realized it. And I started having a lot of self-hate roll in because I thought I was something wrong.
Hard conversations, hard cries are painful, but in the end, they make you feel better. They grow people closer, they bring meaning to life, and it's like a weight is lifted, and like you're able to, I don't know, breathe again, and you're able to live. So hard conversations, hard cries are hard, but they need to happen.
What I wish my parents knew is a movie that's very raw, as you saw. It's just me talking to kids. And here's a couple of things I learned from it, from both movies, and actually all the movies I've done so far. The thing that stuck with me the most that what I wish my parents knew is that first girl. At 7 years old, she wanted to take her life. And as I spend more time, I talk to kids about this now, and I say, when did you first start having these feelings? Some might say I just like last week, but an overwhelming majority of them will say that they had them since they were a young age. They just didn't have the words to say what they felt. So this is not just something that hits people when they're 13 or 14. It doesn't hit people when they're 40. It can happen at 5, 6, 7 years of age where people don't feel like they belong. And we have to be aware of that. And we have to be able to have the conversations. And I know you don't want to have the conversation. I know you feel like if I bring this up to them, I'm going to put thoughts in their head. You have to trust me and trust all the psychologists and therapists and doctors out there. You're not putting thoughts in their head. The thoughts might already be there. Now, I think it's really important for you to understand that the chance of your child or somebody you know dying of suicide is relatively small. Although we probably all know somebody who's had it happen in their lives. But if it happened to you, it's probably relatively small. And I hope it never happens to you, trust me. But 35 to 40% of kids in any given year have a major depression and anxiety issue. So do parents. So it's not about talking about suicide. We're talking about the fact that we're all going through something. And we're all going through something at different times. And sometimes you go through it and you come right out of it, and sometimes you go through it and you're kind of stuck in it. So we have to be able to talk to people. So how do you get your kids to talk to you? That's always the question people ask me, right? How do I get my kids to talk to me? Well, the first thing you don't do is run into their rooms tonight and say, we need to talk about your mental health. That is, you know what you're going to get when you run into their rooms. You're going to get yelled at, right? Because that is the only little space they have in the world, right? I know you paid for it, you pay the rent, you pay the mortgage, you pay for everything great, but their only little protective space is really that room and that bed. So you have to bring them outside somewhere else to have a conversation. You need to be able to say, okay, let's go for a walk, let's go for a drive. Here's another thing I realized. You ever notice that your kids are going to talk to you a lot while you're driving? You ever think about that? You're in the car, you're driving home from school, they suddenly become a little more talkative, maybe a little more serious. They'll tell you about stuff they weren't going to tell you about if you were at home. Well, here's why it happens. We as adults think that when we look someone in the eye and we stare at you, and that's a sign that I'm paying attention to you and I'm taking you seriously, and you're looking me in the eye and we're having a real conversation. That's how adults have conversations. That scares the crap out of kids. They don't want to look you in the eye because they're scared, they're intimidated, they're nervous, they don't know what you're going to think. Think about the old, I grew up Catholic, and that was interesting. When I went to confession, if you didn't grow up Catholic, you watched in the movies, right? You've seen how you go into a confessional and you're sitting there and the priest is on one side, there's a little screen here, he can't see who you are, and you walk in, and by the way, he knows exactly who you are, just for the record. You tell him everything you've ever done, and you get it all off your chest because you're not looking at him, and you feel it's safe to do it. Kids are the same way. Adults are the same way. They don't want to look you right in the eye all the time. Adults who are going through a mental health challenge do not want to look you in the eye. And kids do definitely not want to look you in the eye. So, a couple of things for you to think about. They're going to talk to you when you're driving. That's why we have songs for the drive home, which you can find on our website, which is a whole bunch of songs about mental health that you can play for kids in the car. They'll talk to you when you're doing an activity, so I have to look at you. They'll talk to you when you're outside going for a walk. But they're not going to talk to you when you stare them down and tell them they have to. The most important thing I want you to understand, and I can talk about this for hours, but I'll leave you with this one thought. It's inconvenient being a parent. And it's more inconvenient now, arguably, than maybe it has ever been, because everybody's so busy. So they're not going to talk to you when you want them to talk to you. They're going to talk to you when they want to talk to you on their own terms. So you have to be ready to drop what you're doing and have that conversation. And go deeper and deeper and deeper. Don't offer advice until they ask for it, if they even ask for it. And just let them know you love them and you're here for them. And remember, if it is serious and they go down a path that you're worried about, call 988, get them on the phone with somebody, get to the doctor if you need to. You'll know. But you have to own their mental health the same way you own their physical health. Thank you very much.
In this life, the tides will turn, storms will come, and the rain will fall. But through the darkest nights, oh, you'll see the light. So hold on. Even when your hands are tied, even when the answers don't come, even when the moment begun. So hold on. Even when the world says stop, even when the quiet feels loud, even when the ground shifts again. I know, just hold on.
Thanks for sharing your work with us, Jason. Our next panelist is Gary W. Lee. Gary Lee is a licensed professional clinical counselor. He and his wife, Melody, who is also a therapist, own Vantage Point Counseling and Consulting in Cincinnati, Ohio. Gary attended the University of Cincinnati College Conservatory of Music as a music education major and taught high school music for 3 years. He He has been active in Drum and Bugle Corps for over 40 years, originally marching as a drum major and later instructing and arranging for horn lines. Both Gary and Melody have been psychotherapists for the past 13 years and have been providing mental health, fitness support, and performance psychology training to the Bluecoats Drum Corps for the last 4 years, including their DCI World Championship season in 2024.
Thank you, Megan. Today we're going to be discussing not only why mental health support is important to the marching arts, but how organizations can integrate mental health programming into their organizational culture. Marching arts organizations can play a major role in supporting a member's mental health by building systems that normalize emotional wellness and by reducing the stigma that's often attached to mental health, and by creating a safe, connected learning environment. By connected learning environment, I mean that deep, meaningful bond that is created between the instructor and the performer, as well as the bonding that occurs among the performers themselves. Effective integration works best when mental health support becomes part of the culture of the organization rather than just a separate add-on. When we think of the marching arts, we naturally think of the emotional expression and precision movements that each performer demonstrates. But there's a strong emphasis on physical fitness that is required to make all of that happen. However, in our industry, there's also a growing awareness that top performers not only need physical fitness to perform their art, but mental fitness as well. There's nothing new about this for those in major league sports. The NFL, the NBA, and Major League Baseball have all been emphasizing for years the importance of mental health support for their athletes. Most major corporations and government institutions also now have employee assistance programs to assist their members with emotional or mental struggles. So as instructors, staff, and leaders, how can we begin to implement a mental health program? As an organization, it's critical that mental health programming becomes a natural part of the organization's culture, and this will only happen if top leadership prioritizes the mental health initiative. Trust is another important factor when implementing a mental health program. As in any new relationship, the relationship between the performer and the mental health provider is built on trust, and a big part of trust is confidentiality. Unless there's a sexual violation or risk of personal harm to oneself or another, the performer must know that what they share stays within the therapeutic relationship. As programming continues, it will gain the support of membership, staff, and volunteers. In fact, within a vibrant organization, staff members and volunteers will also begin to utilize the service. The reality is that many of the mental health issues that will be encountered won't originate from within the organization. Many issues are pre-existing with the member before he or she even joins the competitive group. This can include such issues as pre-existing trauma, failed romantic relationships, or family dysfunctions or illness, and any of these can interrupt the competitive season. It's imperative that staff and volunteers are trained to recognize behavioral or personality changes that might indicate an emerging problem with their members. Potential warning signs could include things like sudden withdrawal or isolation, a sudden drop in participation or interest, excessive self-criticism, changes in appearance or energy, or negative self-talk such as feeling hopeless or worthless. Any of these behaviors can be a sign that mental health support is necessary. When the need arises, it's important to have help in place. No one expects the instructors or staff to become therapists, but we can collaborate with trained professionals such as counselors, social workers, performance psychologists, and community mental health agencies. These professionals can help by providing mental health awareness training to staff and performers, by creating referral pathways, by developing wellness policies and emergency protocols, and of course, by responding to a crisis. Creating peer support programs can also be helpful. Members often open up more readily to their peers than to anyone else. So a good peer support program can include mentoring programs, providing section leaders with specialized wellness training, promoting student-led check-ins, and creating a buddy system for new members as they come into the organization. Establishing a peer-led wellness committee can also be helpful to advise the organization's leadership what might be needed next. Peer support programs are designed to recognize and refer members who are in trouble. It is not meant to replace professional help. Educating the instructors and staff is also paramount. Useful training topics can include recognizing signs of anxiety, depression, or burnout, suicidal awareness and response, trauma-informed training, de-escalation techniques, and identifying and preventing burnout for instructors, staff, and volunteers. Mental health professionals can also initiate programs for such things as mental health first aid, the QPR technique, which stands for question, persuade, refer, and trauma-informed education or workshops. A vibrant mental health program promotes success. By creating a psychologically safe environment, performers will thrive because they will feel emotionally safe. Emotional safety helps them deal with the stress, anxiety, and depression that they so often experience. Mental health programming can help them perform better, stay healthier, and navigate the unique demands of this art form. Reducing performance anxiety is also critical. Competition can trigger intense stress, need for perfectionism, and fear of failure. Training performers that anxiety is a natural human response and is actually your body's way of energizing itself to meet and overcome a challenge can help the performer normalize what they're experiencing. Mental wellness can be embedded naturally into rehearsals and coursework through the discussion of such things as performance anxiety by emphasizing stress management techniques such as grounding or breathing exercises, and frequent conversations about the dangers of perfectionism and negative self-talk. Many performance groups unintentionally reinforce unhealthy perfectionism. Mental health programming and evidence-based performance psychology will help reduce the possibility of a harmful performance culture. Healthy adjustments include balancing excellence with well-being, monitoring overscheduling and rehearsal overload, avoiding public shaming during rehearsals, and encouraging proper self-care. Healthy, vibrant programs teach that a performer's value is not tied to performance outcomes. That's an important part, so let me express that again. Healthy, vibrant programs teach that a performer's value is not tied to performance outcomes. Constant evaluation of your mental health program's effectiveness is also critical. Organizations should regularly assess whether their programs are helping. Possible measures could include membership surveys, attendance and retention data, burnout indicators, behavioral referrals, student focus groups, and feedback on staff well-being. So with this all being said, what will a successful mental health program look like? Strong performance organizations support mental health initiatives by treating mental wellness as foundational and not as secondary. Consistently training instructors, staff, and performers on effective mental health protocols. Encouraging open communication. Balancing excellence with humanity. Building an inclusive community and a strong sense of belonging. Maintaining strong referral networks and creating programming that supports both the art and the performer. As in many other ways, the marching arts provides the performer with life skills that will benefit them throughout the rest of their lives. Learning to manage their emotions and developing deeper mental awareness can be one more benefit that they'll achieve from this activity. This concludes my portion of the presentation, and I look forward to answering questions shortly. Thanks for your interest, and take care of yourselves and one another.
Thank you so much, Gary. Our final panelist is Lizanette Koontz. Liza Koontz has been involved in the marching arts for 31 years, with 27 years of teaching experience across scholastic, independent, and world-class ensembles. Throughout her performance career, she earned 5 WGI medals, including 3 gold, and marched with Crossmen and Boston Crusaders Drum and Bugle Corps. She also performed with Alliance of Miami, Medea, Premonition, and Braddock Independent, where Medea and Premonition became foundational spaces for her growth, not only as a performer, but eventually as an instructor and director. For over 15 years, Liza has worked with FIU Winter Guard and currently serves as the co-executive director overseeing FIU Blue, FIU Gold, and FIU Pega World. Beyond the marching arts, Liza is a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner, board certified, and certified nurse educator. She became a registered nurse in 2021 and quickly recognized mental health as her calling, later completing her dual Master of Science and Nursing degrees as both PMHNP and CNE in August of 2025. She is currently pursuing her Doctor of Nursing practice degree with a research focus on mental health care and recidivism reduction within Miami's homeless population. As both a clinician and longtime educator in the marching arts, Liza brings a deeply personal and professional perspective to performer wellness. During her own years as a student, she witnessed many fellow performers struggle silently with mental health challenges while navigating the intense expectations and pressures of the activity. She experienced many of those struggles herself and credits supportive team environments for helping her continue growing both personally and professionally. Today, her work focuses on helping performers understand that excellence and wellness can coexist and that sustainable performance begins with taking care of both the mind and the body.
Hello, and welcome to Reset, Refocus, and Rise, supporting performers through a mental health approach. My name is Lizanette Koontz, MSN, APRN, Psychiatric Mental Health Nurse Practitioner, Board Certified, and Certified Nurse Educator. I'm also a former performer in the activity and current co-executive director for FIU Winter Guards. Today's conversation is not about lowering standards or reducing excellence. It's about understanding how mental wellness, recovery, mindset, and team culture directly impact your ability to perform consistently and sustainably. So today's focus, performance starts beyond the floor. So we're going to cover understanding burnout and capacity. We'll talk about why burnout happens and why talent alone is not enough to sustain performances. Recovery and sustainable performances. So we'll discuss how recovery, hydration, nutrition, and rest directly impact your consistency and stamina. Mindset and rehearsal habits. We'll also talk about how your mindset affects rehearsal quality, confidence, and mental resilience. Advocacy and team culture. We'll discuss the importance of healthy team environments and learning how to advocate for yourself and others. Supporting yourself and others. Most importantly, how can you continue pursuing excellence while also prioritizing yourself through the process, because this activity demands more than people realize. Remember, mental wellness is performance wellness as well. I'd like to share a little bit about me. I'm a performer, director, mental health professional, and advocate. Now I'm speaking to you today from multiple perspectives. I've experienced the demands of the activity as a performer. I've guided students through it as a director, and I also understand the mental health wellness through my clinical background as a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner. One thing I've consistently seen across all of those experiences is that performers often normalize exhaustion, overwhelm, and burnout because they care deeply about succeeding. As a former marching arts performer, I understand the pressures and the rehearsal demands and the emotional highs and lows and the level of commitment in this activity. I've been in this activity for now 27 years. I've marched DCI. I've been in WGI in both Scholastic and independent units, ranging from independent aid through independent world. So I too understand what many of you may go through. As a current color guard director, I also see how much performers carry mentally and physically throughout a season. I can't begin to share how many struggles and highs and lows I've seen through students' challenges and overcoming adversity. And it is why I am a big advocate of mental health through this activity. As a PMH professional, my clinical background has helped me develop better understanding how stress recovery, emotional regulation, and performance are all connected. As an educator and advocate, a large part of my work centers around helping students grow while also supporting their overall well-being. I'm also very passionate about performer sustainability and wellness. I believe you can pursue excellence while still taking care of yourself in the process. So today I want to talk about mental health wellness, not separately from performance, but as part of the performance. Reset. We hear this a lot as performers. We say it a lot as instructors. Reset can be triggering, but it can also help when utilized correctly. Reset. Activity demands more than meets the eye. This activity asks a lot from you physically, mentally, and emotionally. Long rehearsals, travel, injuries, social media pressures, and constant performance expectations all add up over time. Now, sometimes as performers, you become so focused on keeping up that you stop recognizing when your own mind and body are running low. Physical exhaustion. Long rehearsals, repetitive physical output, lack of sleep, injuries, and travel slowly wear down your body over time. Emotional pressure. You may feel pressure to constantly prove yourself to staff, teammates, audiences, social media, or even yourself. Constant comparison. In this activity, comparison exists everywhere. Placement, casting, scores, and clips online can make it easy to measure yourself against everyone else. Fear of falling behind. Sometimes you ignore physical or emotional warning signs because you're afraid of missing opportunities or falling behind. Pressure to always push through. Pushing through everything without recovery eventually impacts your consistency, confidence, and performance quality. This activity requires resilience, discipline, and commitment, but one of the biggest misconceptions is that this activity is believing that talent alone is enough to sustain performances. Continuing through reset. Capacity, not the same as talent. Now, you can be incredibly talented and still struggle because your physical, emotional, or mental capacity has been overloaded. Talent and capacity are not the same. Capacity is the cap. The word cap. It's almost a bucket that you fill with water. That bucket could hold a lot of water, however, it gets to the point where it becomes overloaded. But that doesn't mean the bucket's bad. So the talent is the bucket. You're super talented, sturdy, a great bucket, but capacity is when too much has been put in. Burnout impacts performance. Burnout is more than simply being tired. It's physical, emotional, mental exhaustion that builds over time. Capacity changes under stress. Capacity is your ability to function effectively under pressure, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Focus and confidence decrease. When you become overwhelmed, concentration becomes harder, mistakes feel bigger, and confidence becomes less stable. Recovery slows down. Your brain and body recover more slowly under chronic stress, impacting stamina, consistency, and emotional regulation. Remember, recovery is part of color guard and does get credit when done correctly. Part of that is to make sure that you are not facing overwhelm and you have that consistency and emotional regulation. Mental health affects physical performance. So your brain and body are connected systems. Your mental wellness directly impacts your focus, endurance, reaction time, and performance quality. Burnout does not mean you lack talent, discipline, or passion. Often it means you have been functioning beyond your capacity for too long without enough recovery. Burnout prevents performers from showing up as their best selves. Refocus. Find that focus, lock it in, refocus. Refocus, recovery, essentials to maximizing performance. A lot of performers train like elite athletes, but neglect recovering completely. Hydration, nutrition, sleep, and rest are not separate from performances. They are part of your performance. So performers train like elite athletes, but do not recover like they do. Recovery is part of training. Recovery allows your body and mind to continue performing effectively throughout an entire season. Hydration impacts focus. Even mild dehydration can affect your concentration, endurance, reaction time, and mental clarity throughout the season, and rehearsals and performance. Personally, I always recommend liquid IVs, or if you're going to use a Gatorade, sugar-free, any of those electrolyte enhancers or supplements are great. Please consult with your physicians, but if you want to keep hydration up, You're going to have to be able to put a little bit more than just water into your system. Nutrition impacts stamina. What you fuel your body with directly impacts how consistently you rehearse, recover, and perform. This is protein. Protein. Great carbs. You got to look at your veggies and things like that. Yes, but you can also include a starch. Make sure it's not fried. Things like that will help you consistently create some energy, so that way you just don't burn through everything throughout your rehearsal or performance. Sleep affects emotional regulation. When you consistently prioritize sleep, you are able to manage stress, maintain focus, and recover mentally and physically. In the sleep cycle, when you go through REM and non-REM, it is understood, especially for us psychiatric nurses practitioners and even psychiatrists alike, we all say the same thing. When you go to sleep, your body goes to work. Why? Because recovery matters. So in order to make sure that you recover your body well, you have to rest. I understand that there are times at work, school, or even wanting to stay up and hanging out with your friends or whatever it may be. It is important that when you are in season, if you're in drum corps, or even if you're in WGI, recovery and rest matters most. Rest improves consistency. Now, the goal is not just surviving one rehearsal or performance. The goal is helping yourself stay consistent over time. Sustainable performance is not about constantly doing more. It's about learning how to support your body and mind in ways that allow you to continue growing, performing at a high level. Sustainable performers perform longer and better. This is part of the, work smarter, not harder. If you take care of your body, you build consistency, you are working smarter without harder. If you're tired, you're dehydrated, you're not eating, you're making your body work much harder, which is going to, in long term, impact recovery, will also impact capacity. Refocus again. Mindset. A mind can dot in or dot out. Mental spirals happen fast in this activity. One bad rep can quickly become frustration, self-doubt, overthinking, or comparison. In color guard, we think about the equipment going in and out all the time, but mentally you can dot in or dot out too. Practice with intention. The quality of your rehearsal matters more than simply getting through rehearsal. Intentional reps create stronger performance habits. Full out reps build confidence. Confidence is built through repetition, preparation, and learning to trust yourself under pressure. Mark with purpose. Marking can absolutely be effective when it's intentionally done instead of simply going through the motions. Now, there is a big difference between a full out rep and marking with purpose. When you are full out, this is where you're giving all of your energy. This is when you're doing huge chunks where you're trying to really create that consistency. When you're marking with purpose is maybe you hold back that energy, but you still extend your arm. You still push out, but it's just not that drive intense where you're really going completely full out. What you don't want to do when you're marking is create poor muscle memory. Remember, your body will remember what you do over time. Consistency matters when you're marking as well. Reset after mistakes. One mistake should not take you out for the rest of rehearsal or performance. A mistake happens. Recovery is on the sheets for a reason. We are human. We understand human error. Now, what you do with that mistake is what's going to tell you whether you're going to excel or not. So just make sure that if you make a mistake, you learn, you grow, you let it go, and you move on. Avoid comparison spirals. Consistent rehearsals create consistent shows. When you are practicing at your best in a performance, you elevate so much better. So when you take that concept of, I am going to be my best self at rehearsal, that means the better self of you is going to show up. Why? Adrenaline and joy will kick into place. If you are grounded and you are centered in what you're doing at rehearsal, you will be grounded and enjoying yourself as you're doing it in shows. Avoid comparison spirals. So, going back into that comparison spiral, it is easy to look at someone else and say, they are so much better than me, but you don't know if they're doing that as well. If you yourself just focus on you, it will help you realize that maybe I can do this, maybe I could do that. Don't let yourself go into a negative spiral about yourself. Talk to yourself like you would to somebody else. Why? Because we are our own worst critics. Now, remember, the strongest performers are not the ones who never struggle mentally. They are the ones who learn how to reset, regulate pressure, and refocus productively. Your mindset shapes your performance habits. Rise. Rise. Team culture, keeping in tempo. The strongest teams are not just technically talented. They create environments where you feel respected, supported, and safe enough to grow, struggle, improve, and advocate for yourself and others. Energy spreads quickly. Positive and negative energy both spread quickly throughout rehearsal environments. Choose wisely. Psychological safety improves performance. When you feel psychologically safe, you are more willing to take risks, learn, improve, and perform confidently. Support creates stronger performance. You perform better when you're connected, encouraged, and supported by the people around you. So do the same for others. If you create that team culture, you guys all support each other, you'll be in a better place. Advocacy matters. Part of leadership is learning how to advocate for yourself and also recognize when someone around you may need support too. It is the best bet to advocate for yourself, and if you see something, say something. Community matters. There is a phrase many performers grow up hearing: good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good is better and your better is the best. But growth is healthiest when you support each other through the process instead of feeling like you have to carry everything alone. You do that with your team. Excellence becomes more sustainable when performers feel supported mentally, emotionally, and physically. The strongest teams support the people behind the performance. Now, clearly it's that excellence. Excellence is not perfection. Excellence is striving for your best and going out for the best outcome you can. Tips and tricks in Rise. So a lot of performance success happens outside of rehearsal. The small habits you build throughout the season directly impact how you can consistently perform physically, mentally, and emotionally. So fuel before you feel depleted. Waiting until you're exhausted to eat or hydrate makes recovery and performance harder. Fueling consistently helps stabilize energy and stamina. Hydrate before rehearsals and performances. Hydration affects focus, endurance, recovery, and mental clarity. Performances start before rehearsal and even begins. Keep quick energy sources in your bag. Protein bars, electrolyte fruit snacks, trail mix, or quick carbohydrates can help sustain your energy through rehearsal or competition days. Stretch, recover, and reset consistently. Recovery habits outside of rehearsal help your body handle physical demands of the activity more effectively. Practice full out with intention. Consistent rehearsal create consistent performances. When you practice at your best, your performance will elevate to a better. Prioritize sleep during heavy rehearsal weeks and performance schedules. Again, sleep is the biggest performance tool that performers underestimate. Advocate early, not when overwhelmed. Speaking up early when something feels physically or mentally off helps prevent larger issues later. The goal is not perfection. The goal is learning how to support yourself consistently enough to continue to grow, performing, and enjoy the activity long term. Consistency outside of rehearsal impacts consistency on the field and floor. Think about that. Reset, refocus, rise. This activity will always demand a lot from you physically and mentally, but excellence and wellness do not have to compete with each other. The strongest performers are the ones who learn how to sustain themselves while growing, recover, and perform consistently. When you reset your nervous system, refocus your mind, and prioritize yourself, you rise to excellence. Your best performance starts with you. Thank you. Here's my information. My name is Lizanette Koontz. I am a former performer in the activity, current co-executive director at FIU Winter Guards. Here's my contact information, lkoontz@jlpsychiatric.com. My website is jlpsychiatric.com, and my Instagram is also jlpsychiatric. Reset, refocus, rise, supporting performers through a mental health approach. Thank you for joining me today.
Right out there, not people like, oh my God, I didn't know that's what I needed in my life. And I want to create that kind of environment, that kind of world where people reach out to us, people like yourself who are just hearing about what we're doing. It's like, yeah, that sounds kind of cool. And if I showed you what we did, you're like, oh, this is everything. Yeah. And that's where I'm trying to get to. It's important that we get the word out there, that people are marching and having a good time, but the release is what's needed. The freedom is what's needed. That's what the essence of Melanin Mosaic is. It's freedom. And all stop is freedom. There's no rules. If you want to do something, bring it to us. Let's try to make it work within our frame of the marching arts and dance and blah. But if you want to do it, let's try to find a way how to do it.
Thank you so much, Liza and Jared. And just a quick note, I know I would be a different person today if these resources had been available to me when I marched. So I just want to extend my deepest gratitude to everyone involved here today, bringing you this information, because I know that it will benefit all of the current and future marchers in our activity. So next up is our live panel discussion and Q&A. So please welcome to the room our panelists. First up is Jason Reid.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me here today.
Next, we have Gary W. Lee.
Hello, good to be here.
Great. And Liza Koontz.
Hi, all. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. So I have a really easy one for you, for all of the panelists, anyone who'd like to speak up on this question. But what does Mental Health Month that we're currently in mean to each of you?
I mean, I'll go first. I mean, Mental Health Month is everything to me. There has been so many changes. The mental health has now become more normalized. It used to be very much stigmatized. I think post-pandemic, all the struggles that everyone has had, not just in the performing arts, just the community in general, working with the general population, working with the homeless population, I can see all the struggles and they are very much the same. I think that people addressing, your mind, where it's the pivotal point of everything in your body. Your mind controls what you do, how you do it. The mind-gut connection, all those things are so important. And now that it's being more brought into light, is such a big deal. And the Mental Health Month awareness and Nurses Month, just saying.
How could I forget? I apologize.
No. It's just a really big deal. And I'm just really glad to be part of this field.
Thanks. Gary or Jason?
Sure.
Go ahead,
Jason. All right, thanks. I struggle with it a little bit, to be honest, because in my mind, we should be paying attention to mental health every single month, every single week, every single day.
Yeah.
So when we just say it's May, so everybody's going to wake up and do something and pay attention to it, I'm like, that's fantastic that we are, but there are 11 more months of the year that I think are really important that we need to be really focusing on everybody.
Thank you for that.
Yes, and I think mental health, it's important that the organization culture reflects the support for the mental health initiative. We talk about we have to be physically fit. We also have to be mentally fit as well. And there's still a reluctance. There's still a stigma attached to mental health. I work with a lot of first responders and combat military veterans in trauma. And the perspective there is, I'm the hero. I solve everybody else's problems. I should be able to handle it myself. And the reality is that's never going to happen. You need the outside resources that are available and dedicated and committed to helping to bring you alone back into a mental wellness state. And athletes and performers are no different. It is a competitive environment. And we're constantly working to try to prove our physical ability. And we certainly don't want to admit that we may have some mental problem or mental deficit that could potentially mean that we lose our spot.
Absolutely. Thank you all. And I just want to shout out to the audience real quick. Please feel free to type any questions you may have for our panel into the chat, and we'll get them up to the panelists as soon as possible. So for any panelist, again, I'm curious what has been the most powerful turnaround in mental health that you've witnessed, or one of the most powerful turnarounds in mental health that you've witnessed, and what role the community has had in that turnaround.
When we were initiating a formal mental health program in the Bluecoats, that process took about 3 years. Last year was the first year that the mental health initiative was actually considered part of the core identity. And the interesting thing about that is, and how I measured the success or the improvement of that program, was the expansion of where our referrals were coming from. Last year, for the first time, because the program had been well embedded into the core culture, we wound up getting referrals from other performers, the peers. Rank and file said, hey, could you reach out and talk to this person? We think we've noticed a change. We think there's something wrong. We got an increased amount of referrals from the actual instruction staff. So the instructors, because we had begun to orient the entire organization, not just focusing on the performers, but making sure that every level of the organization had the awareness to recognize when something was starting to shift in a performer's mindset or attitude. So it took about 3 years to get an active, engaged program. But once it's embedded into the culture, and I cannot stress that enough, once it's embedded into the culture, then the entire organization embraces it, and we become a natural part. We become another legitimate part of their success.
I can imagine the relief for so many people within that system at the Bluecoats for having the strong referral network. So thank you so much, Jason or Liza.
Yeah, Liza, you want to go or you want me to go?
You can go ahead. I'll go after.
All right, cool. You know, I'm not a licensed therapist, as I think I made clear. And I've been in this field now for 8 years, and I've spent a lot of time speaking and talking to a lot of different people. And I can tell you what I believe I've seen in the last 8 years is definitely a shift from 8 years ago. I felt like kids and parents really didn't have that great of a grip on mental health, and the conversations were not really happening to the level they're having today. And I see when I go around to talk to kids at schools, they are a lot more dialed in. They understand it a lot better. The education is so much stronger than it used to be. Parents are now taking their kids a lot more seriously, and not always, but a lot more seriously when they have challenges. And I'm hopeful. I'm very hopeful. I think there's things there's things that I'm not as excited about, like the effect of AI on creativity and such with our young kids, and other things with AI. But I think I'm hopeful in the fact that there's conversations happening, there's awareness that's happening, and I've seen a definite shift, and I think it's a positive shift.
Reassuring, thank you, Liza.
Okay, so it's gonna be twofold. I'm gonna talk firstly about outside. So outside of in the color guard marching arts world, I've noticed an increase of evidence-based, data-driven. So besides my work that I do as a nurse practitioner, things like that, I do work in institutional research for Miami-Dade College. And in turn, we do use a lot of data-driven information. So with that being said, I have turned my research for the homeless population into data-driven mental health markers. So that way we can create the full research that shows and allocates, the coping mechanism failures, or, why is there, reuse of, drug use and things like that. When you turn those numbers into when you turn that evidence into numbers, you can start getting statistical pools and seeing where the falls in the community happen, because that affects community. you know as far as in the color guard world, we come from a very different generation. I'm a little bit older. I've been through the ringer of getting yelled at and scream and all those things. I've seen even through like drum corps and things like that. We marched at the same time. So I know, it's one of those things that it's really like, even my approach as an instructor, back in the days, it was very much you run and I'll watch you until I get tired. And that, as you get older, you start realizing that those factors don't create sustainability within programs. Retention factors hurt, how the performances go out, things like that. I've been very blessed in all the programs I've had, but I've seen a lot of failures in other programs that don't have these kind of setups. Something like Bluecoats, where you have a program for mental health and things like that. That is excellent. I hope that more people adopt that process throughout, not just in DCI, but also at WGI. As far as FIU goes, again, I've been with FIU for 15 years. I've been with Enrique being the director now for, it's going to be my 11th year. And with that being said, in the last 4 years, remember, we're an institutional based program. So we work with FIU, the institution itself as well. We are Florida International University. So you can see the clauses change. Even our handbook have changed. We've had diversity clauses, fraternization clauses, things like that help balance. Recently, in the last 3 years, we have addressed more mental health because, again, this generation is much different than ours. The soft generation, they're not soft. They're just a little bit different because the parents' approaches are different because of all the adversities we faced when we were younger. However, with that being said, I have seen a rise of anxieties, performance anxieties, and things like that, where it was very different back then. The way they would just tell you, just go do it. No, now we tackle it very different. We tackle one-on-one. We do express, having consent and things like that. I do have, because when you're in an institution, there's FERPA, which is the equivalent to HIPAA in the medical world. So whenever we address anything, there is a paper trail. There is anything that's going to be able to protect a student as well. So all those things and combined have helped, including even this year. We had a group of students who were very, very new, very, very much babies. They were all high school students. And I'm not saying babies in the approach that they were children, but they were very young and independent world, and the independent universe in general. So we took these young performers and we got them to finals. Why? And then it was at finals, after they finished performing, they said, just so you guys are aware, the magnitude of what you actually did. And then we actually explained to them what we were preparing them for. But we approached with teamwork. We approached with breath work. We approached with, trying to ground yourself as you perform. Why? Because mental health matters. We always say the same thing, and everyone's heard it. Color guard is 90% mental, 10% physical. It's true. However, how that comes across from instructors, directors, and anyone who is working with them, it has to have that foundation that addresses that focus first. And then you go into technical attributes and things like that. Now, that does not mean you don't hold them accountable. It's how you hold them accountable. Put it in their hands. You tell them, this is your show. You do what you want with it. You know what I mean? You make it, you give them that ownership so they're not feeling like they're being talked to, versus we are a team, we are together, we are working through this, and it was very pleasant to see those kids make finals. To me, I say kids, those performers make finals, because at the end of the day, they worked their tails off. They really addressed, what it was to be a team. And again, it wasn't easy. These were all high school students who went into independent. And if you know anything about independent, it is definitely the wild wild west. So being able to have that approach and really like have the catalyst of the year of all the work we've been doing for the last few years pay off, showed overall like how we approach things at FIU Winter Guards and how we foster that creativity and drive. It is awesome. I'm not even gonna lie.
Love it, love it. Well, I'm going to push our Q&A for one more question that I think is really, really relevant, especially going into the marching season for Drum Corps. And it's a performer question. They ask, is it normal to feel emotionally drained during the competitive season, even if you still love performing? At what point should someone actually reach out for support? And that's for everyone.
I mean, yes and no. Yes, it's normal to be a little bit drained. It's not normal to be burnt out. Especially when you're on tour. Tour is so taxing on you. You are sleeping on buses, you are traveling from site to site, you are having extended rehearsals from the morning to the night. You know, it goes back to what I spoke about in presentation, how you prepare. I am a big proponent of liquid IV. Some people can't use it, so they always say make sure you speak to your providers. However, properly hydrating before rehearsals, protein. Sometimes people just want to go get cereal and milk in the morning. No, like get some protein in your body. It's gonna sustain you a little bit more. And again, rest when you can. It's so easy in drum corps after you finish a show to like go run around and go see your friends and all that because we are young, we have all this energy. Do that, but do it wisely. You're gonna see certain people at the next show. Maybe don't see them. Maybe go back on the bus, chill out. Get ready for the next day and things like that. That's just my advice.
I'll give you a simple way I look at it. I think it's good to a point. If you gave everything in your performance, no matter what you do, and you left it all in the field, and you can be proud of what you did because you worked that hard and you were that great at what you did, you're going to be tired when you're done. You're going to be emotionally exhausted when you're done. I would argue if you're not emotionally exhausted when you're done, you didn't leave it all on the field and you didn't give it 100%. So that's just life. So it's normal to feel that way. Now, like Liza said, if you're fully burned out and then you can't recover the next day and you just can't get back on your feet, that's different. And that's when maybe you have to get some help. But you should be completely exhausted after a performance or you probably didn't give it 100%.
I think also the individual knows, the performer knows when it's time to reach out. The matter, the essence is overcoming the denial or the reluctance to reach out. The performer knows when they have reached that level of incapacity. So normalizing the fact that we all become overextended at some point, and it is okay to reach out. One of the things that we have realized a lot of success from is the close relationship that we have with mental health and also with the athletic trainers in the Corps. The athletic trainers are ministering to the physical needs of the performer. And at the same time, they're constantly checking in on that performer to see what the emotional, what the mental mindset would be for them. And referrals will often come from the athletic trainer. So normalizing the fact that it is okay to reach out is an important part of creating that overall mental health culture.
Yeah. The last thing, listen to your nervous system. If you're constantly anxious, if you're questioning yourself whether or not you should say something, you probably should say something at that point. You know, a lot as performers, because we have such like stress put on us 24/7, it's very easy to take a sidestep and take a step back and be like, maybe I'm overreacting. You know, the worst thing that could happen if you speak is that they say, oh, this is not a big deal. And then it drops your nervous system down. But if you're constantly sitting on that nervous system high, even if you rest, it will not recover. So it's important that you do communicate once you feel the moment your body just tells you, I think I need to say something, you should. Don't hold that in, because the more you hold it in, the more it's going to build and the less you're going to enjoy what you're doing.
Well said. I held on to it for almost 2 decades and the resulting health that I've been working through myself. So I can't emphasize enough the last thing that you just said. So I have one question for each of you. Separate questions for each of you as we wrap up. So a brief response would be greatly appreciated, and we'll go in order of appearance. So Jason, can you describe the process you've undergone as you've shared your personal story and that of your son Ryan's with so many people? How have you changed?
Well, this is not where I expected to find myself. This was not a spot I'd ever thought I'd be speaking about, ever. So I didn't even think I was a charitable person. I thought I was going to retire and give money away, and that's what I was going to do. I didn't imagine spending the amount of time I do in the space. But I look at it this way. I'll sum it up this way, because I had some thoughts this year that maybe I didn't want to continue with this. And over the holidays, I came to this conclusion is that when I die, I believe that I'm going to go somewhere and someone's going to go through my life with me. And they're going to say, here's what you did, and here's what you didn't do. And what I don't want them to say to me is, why did you quit when you could have saved that many more kids? So to sum it up, I'm trying to do my best to change as many people's lives as I can, because I think it's the right thing to do. And it's kind of what I have to do.
Well, I want to thank you personally as someone who's also shared their story of significant challenges and what that's done for me. So I can just affirm being in contact with you now and learning about your story has really validated what I've done. So thank you so much. I'd like to add my voice to the many who have heard your work. You're very welcome. Gary, what is the number one thing you want current marching members to know about their mental health going into this season?
Well, as I was listening to Jared, this actually kind of dovetails right in with him. The first thing is awareness, and so much of what Jared has done is create awareness among the youth in our country of the importance of having proper mental health support, and then also normalizing that outreach to get the help that you need at a time when you need it, and how that can change the whole trajectory of your world and of your life. One thing that I've realized as a therapist is everyone has a story. Everyone has a story. And Jared is telling his and his son's story. Everyone has that story. Everyone who comes into drum corps brings their story with them. And that is part of who they are. And that will be part of what influences how they do and how they perform, whether they have strong belief in themselves or whether they're having second thoughts and constantly insecure. I think the last thing I like about what we're doing in this movement, as far as mental health awareness is concerned, is that all of us, from the experiences that we've had over the decades, have benefited from what drum corps has taught us about life. We are better people because of some of the life lessons that we learned in drum corps, whether that was self-discipline, commitment, teamwork, communication, connecting with your audience, connecting with yourself. All of that made us better adults because of what we experienced in our youth. And the hopeful thing that I have about the initiative that Drum Corps is taking with mental health awareness is that is one more quality that they are learning now as young people that will enrich their lives for the rest of their life.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And finally, last but not least, Miss Liza, what are some of the mental health distress, signs of mental health distress that you'd like the audience to take away from today? I'm imagining I'm a friend and I see someone in my section who I think is struggling, but I don't really know the signs. I'm not really trained. I haven't taken any classes to recognize them. So yeah, what would you say are some of those signs that you'd like for our audience members to take away?
So the biggest thing is that most of the time the signs are not what we think they are. People think they're going to be crying or, usually those signs are shown much, much later. Most of the basic signs are opposite. If you know someone who's very extroverted, jumping around and things like that, if they just happen to just start maybe toning that down a little bit, they don't quite have that enthusiasm as much. Also, what are they eating during lunch? If you know somebody who, often has a lot of food or so on and so forth, a lot of people struggle in this activity. Like I said, with nutrition is a big deal. If you see someone who always used to, all of a sudden they're like, I just don't feel like eating that much right now. I just want to focus or I want to just do this and just that. Those are early signs that there might be some distress happening. Obviously, once, someone says something as, man, I don't know how much I'm feeling this. Everyone knows that there's always that little, I want to say the carpool ride home or even the bus talk, like the water cooler talks that people have. Once you start hearing those little cues that start becoming a little opposite to what you normally hear, maybe, hey, how you holding up? Is there something bothering you? And just keeping those things open, not necessarily be like, are you feeling good or bad? And then like they can easily say good, but there's no foundational pull because somebody can tell you, hey, are you okay? You're like, yeah, I'm okay. But did you enjoy rehearsal? No, I did not. I'm okay with it because it is what it is. Those are markers that will tell you, hey, something's going on. Obviously reportable things. If you see someone, creating any form of self-harm, you see them again, not eating, maybe going to the bathroom a little too much to do. I don't know. I've seen cases of people who've tried purging and stuff like that. This was when I was marching and things like that. So, just be wise, always contact your directors or maybe a staff member you're comfortable with to maybe just give a little, hey, I think this person's struggling, and let the staff, do their thing. You can also, I said, as a performer, if you're comfortable enough to try to lead and comfort that person, that's great. But at some point it needs to be utilized. And I always, I'm a big proponent of 988. If you're struggling, you can always utilize this line. However, it is important that if you do see something, say something, because even if it's early on, it's best to address, because again, humans and things like that, sometimes somebody tells you you're doing this wrong on count 5 and they take it as you're the worst person in the universe, and perception and realities are self. Person's perception and the realities come to themselves. So I tell you, you're late on count 5. Your perception is she hates me. Your reality is she hates me. My reality is you're late on count 5. So those things have to kind of like balance out a little bit, but that's the best thing. You see something, even if it's early on, if you find it a little odd, I would communicate early so it could be addressed.
Thank you, all of our panelists, for that. A quick correction. I think, Gary, when you were answering the last question, I think you were referring to Jared, but I think you meant Jason and his.
I know what he meant. It's like.
No, I knew we all knew, but I just wanted to make sure I would clarify because I know. So again, thank you all so much. I know this is going to mean a lot to marching members now, and like I said, moving forward, and it certainly means a lot to me. All that you've said and all that you've shared with us in the Q&A. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. As we begin to wrap up today's summit, we want to remind everyone that additional mental health resources, information, and future initiatives can be found at melaninmosaicpe.com. If you or anyone you know needs immediate support, please call or text 988, as the panelists said, for free, confidential 24/7 crisis support. Thank you again so much to our panelists, Jason Reid, Gary W. Lee, and Lizanette Koontz, and to everyone who joined us today, for those, as well as for those who catch us at a later time in the future. These are important conversations, and we hope you received everything you can carry with you, share it with others, and use these resources to help create a more supportive and connective marching and performing arts community and beyond. Don't forget to follow us at Melanin Mosaic PE and visit melaninmosaicpe.com to stay connected with upcoming programs, projects, and community initiatives. And don't run off just yet. The summit is not over. Now it's time to slow things down and reconnect our minds, bodies, and spirits with the healing sound bath session by Andrea Cole, followed by a house music set from DJ Suwani River. I'm Megan De Ruiz Yankee, forever throwing babies for the mental health and the marching arts initiatives. This has been Melanin Mosaic Mental Health Summit, presented by Melanin Mosaic Performance Ensemble. Take care of yourselves and one another.
Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. We're so glad you could attend. Come inside, come inside.
At Melanin Mosaic Performance Ensemble, we believe in the power of art to tell stories, break barriers, and uplift communities. Our mission celebrates the voices of the African diaspora through live performances, impactful films, and meaningful community initiatives. From stunning flag and prop choreography to captivating dance, we bring creativity, joy, and purpose to every stage and screen. Each performance is more than just entertainment. It's a chance to empower diverse voices, champion mental wellness, and foster inclusivity in the arts. By working with us, you become part of something greater. Your support not only fuels our creative journey, but also helps us continue making a difference in the lives of others. Whether it's through an unforgettable live performance or an inspiring film project, partnering with Melanin Mosaic ensures that the stories we tell and the communities we uplift are seen, heard, and celebrated. Join us in our mission to create, inspire, and make a lasting impression. Together, we can bring these stories to life.
Experiences that I was just mentioning, they will really cover this time, because even when we want to balance our bodies, we want to balance our wheels of light, our value systems. It's all about finding what makes sense. It's either one side or the other. It's really either hot or cold, honestly. So balancing it with whatever consumption serves you and whatever sounds feel good. Maybe it's just the sound of a family member, a friend. Nice. So we have a couple minutes. I do want to be able to share some quick sound healing in this space, just so you can see and feel and just be in your space of nourishment, of love, of peace. of love and of peace. So remember that blanket that I told y'all about? We're gonna go ahead and get that blanket out and be on the blanket. This is one of my instruments, y'all. I use that. So what I want you to do is just to close your eyes for the next couple minutes as we round out our time together. Again, I'm Andrea. You're gonna have this contact information later on, but just as you settle in, just be at peace with yourself. You can lay on the ground if that serves you more. I want you to close your eyes. Even if it feels right to set intention in this space, setting intention simply means thinking about what serves you. What serves you? What do you need right now in this moment, in this space? Notice where you feel the vibration in your body, if at all. As we conclude and wrap up our time together in this space, I want you to remember to follow your ease, follow your peace, be gentle with yourself, take it easy. You set your own pace. You have the control, the autonomy, the power. And the things that we can't control, we release with the ease of knowing that everything works for us and nothing works against us. It's unreasonable for us to doubt, to fear, to have shame. It's unreasonable. That's why it doesn't feel good. I'll conclude with just 3 beats to this shaman drum. 2, 3. Ashe. Ashe means and so it is and so it shall be. Feel free to open your eyes, to gently wiggle your toes and move your knees, wiggle your fingertips, breathe. Notice what sounds you really resonate with and felt in your space. Notice how it made you feel. If it's something that helped your being, if it's something that rather increased your being, increased your vitality, your energy, or is it something that kind of allowed your mind to kind of cool down and relax? I hope today's message served you all, each and every one of you. My specific contact is on the screen. Again, I am the owner and clinical social worker for Honor Your Presence PLLC. Feel free to follow me on IG and Facebook so you can have up-to-date things of what I'm doing in the North Carolina areas. I've traveled Charlotte, Greensboro, Raleigh in the North Carolina areas, and I travel domestically and internationally. So I'm always here to do whatever is needed to just heal, be, exist together, and manage our energy.
Swanee River, what?
You are watching a master at work.
such a blessing and a curse to feel this deep. If I had one wish, I'd give to you the key. Put a smile on your face whenever I can. I promise to never let you down again. Put a smile on your face whenever I can. I promise to never let you down again. Put a smile on your face whenever I can. Put a smile on your face whenever I can. Put a smile on your face whenever I can. Put a smile on your face whenever I can. Put a smile on your face whenever I can. I promise to never let you down again.
House music. House music. House music. House music. House music. Not everyone understands house music. It's a spiritual thing, a body thing, a soul thing, a soul thing. Not everyone understands house music. It's a spiritual thing, a body thing, a soul thing, a soul thing. Not everyone understands house music. It's a spiritual thing, a body thing, a soul thing, a soul thing. Not everyone understands house music. It's a spiritual thing, a body thing, a soul thing, a soul thing. Not everyone understands house music. It's a spiritual thing, a body thing, a soul thing, a soul thing. House music.
Don't make me wait.
House
Don't make me wait.
Not everyone understands house music. It's a spiritual thing, a body thing, a soul thing,
Don't make me wait.
a soul thing. Not everyone understands house music. It's a spiritual thing, a body thing, a soul thing,
Don't make me wait.
a soul thing.
Don't make me wait.
Not everyone understands house music. It's a spiritual thing, a body thing,
I wanna rock right now. I'll make it hot right now. Straight to the top right now. You know it's a rock right now. So baby, don't stop right now. I came the body and talk my. How you gon' walk to the club like this? Looking like a bag of money like whoa. I gotta calm down, see how the night goes. I can see your body moving, your body moving. You know what you're doing, skin silky smooth. What you trying to do? Turn up the wall. How you get me loose? Yeah, you got me loose. Let's step out of here real nice. Baby, act now, you ain't gotta think twice. I see it in your eyes, you're feeling my vibe, and we can get right for the rest of the night. I like the way you whine, though. You know we got time, though. It must be a crime, oh, to be so fine. Oh. The night is still young, I wanna act up, be dumb and have fun, but I can feel your hesitation. Baby, don't keep me waiting, baby, don't keep me waiting.
Don't make me wait another night. Tonight I'm gonna love you. Don't make me wait all night. Oh, I desire you. Don't make me wait another night. Tonight I'm gonna love you. Don't make me wait all night. Oh, I desire you. Don't make me wait another night. Tonight I'm gonna love you. Don't make me wait all night. Oh, I desire you. It's truly a fantasy, baby. Oh, I gotta have you. I gotta have you. Body and soul. Don't make me wait another night. Don't make me another minute. All night. Oh, 'cause I can do it right. Yes, I can. Don't make me like a symphony composed by the killer. So now I deal in words to swallow. I never left my land. It was taken from me, yet I created beauty. Outlived the betrayal of the white man who said he was my friend and left me naked. And still I call this nation friend with hopes that twisted ideology will be reversed, as sanity will have its course, as sanctity will be required to have a place in any office in the United States where my life is at stake. My autonomy never recognized because it was always in the hands of power, of an oppressor, of colonization. My hope is paradise someday when I will see God's face. It's a paradox, the way I still fight for change. In my lyrics, my soul craves justice. Justice is never tasted. Speak me, no sincerity. And I spit these lyrics for my peoples, for all peoples, with an accent I am no longer ashamed of.
You are watching a master at work.
Swanee River, what?